Mark Consuelos made a candid confession about his airport etiquette during Monday's episode of Live with Kelly and Mark. The hosts discussed the best way to deplane before Mark admitted that when the flight crew asks passengers to let those with tight connections exit first, he doesn't wait. Every now and then they say, "Hey, if you have a delay, please let the people come off the plane. They have a tight connection," he shared. "And if I'm up front, I'm gonna say, my tight connection is getting into a taxi. That's my tight connection," Mark continued. "I'm getting off 'cause I'm not holding anybody up. I'm grabbing my stuff and flying off that plane. I'm not necessarily waiting for those poor souls 10 rows behind me. I'm off that plane." Kelly Ripa proceeded to call out her husband for his behavior, as she revealed that he often leaves her behind on the airplane. "By poor souls, he means his wife," she said. "I usually get a text, 'I'll meet you at the cab,'" she explained. "That's when I know I have to grab my stuff and book it. Otherwise, the cab is not gonna wait." The talk show host shared that her husband allows a grace period of 35 to 60 seconds for her to get there. Otherwise, he's heading off in his taxi. This isn't the first time the couple has clashed over airport etiquette. Back in October, Kelly and Mark discussed the concept of an airport divorce, a growing trend that sees couples follow separate routines at the airport to avoid fighting with each other. "Couples are doing something unique, and I want to run this by you," Kelly began as they discussed the concept. "I think we could do well with this, an airport divorce. Because you and I have different traveling philosophies, different traveling styles." "What do you mean?" "Like I walk fast in the airport," Mark replied. Kelly chimed in. "You need to get there 4 to 16 hours before a flight takes off," before he clarified that he likes to arrive 90 minutes early. "The airport divorce is what we are definitely getting," said Kelly as Mark added. "Just watching married people quarrel on TV. It's fun. Mom and dad fighting again." The couple tied the knot in 1996, when they eloped in Las Vegas a year after meeting on the set of the soap opera All My Children. They went on to welcome kids Michael, 28, Lola, 24, and Joaquin, 22 together. "I'm off." 2 simple words, but when they are spoken by Mark Consuelos on live television while walking away from his wife, Kelly Ripa, the internet pays attention. We are used to the banter. We are used to the bickering. But did a recent segment on Live with Kelly and Mark finally push the husband and wife duo too far? It was supposed to be a simple segment, a light-hearted debate, but it quickly turned into a divisive situation that split the audience right down the middle. Was Mark being rude, or was he just being real? Today we aren't just looking at the clip. We are breaking down the unique pressure of hosting a show with your spouse, the fan reactions that are flooding social media, and why this specific moment might be revealing more about their dynamic than they intended. Stay tuned because we are getting into the messy, hilarious, and real details right now. 050 to 110. Intro sequence. Visual cue. Channel intro/logo splash. 110 end, the body. Host, on camera. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following the morning TV landscape, you know that the transition from Ryan Seacrest to Mark Consuelos was a massive gamble. Producers were betting on the natural chemistry of a married couple. And for the most part it's paid off. But with great chemistry comes great volatility. Let's talk about what actually went down. This wasn't a scripted skit. This wasn't a rehearsed bit. This was one of those organic moments that only happens when you put Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos behind a desk with no filter. The couple was engaging in what seemed like a standard host chat. That first 20 minutes of the show where they discuss their personal lives, their evening before, or trending topics. Visual cue. Screenshot of the stump Mark segment or the specific debate context. The tension started brewing over a difference of opinion. Now we've seen them argue about Mark's snoring, or Kelly's lack of time management, or who is the stricter parent. But this time the vibe shifted. The conversation turned into a divisive situation regarding a topic that everyone at home has an opinion on. Whether it was a disagreement about sports etiquette or a misunderstanding about household rules, Mark hit a wall. He threw his hands up. He uttered the now viral phrase, "I'm off," and he physically removed himself from the conversation. Now, why does this matter? Why are we spending time analyzing a 10-second interaction? Because it breaks the fourth wall of daytime TV. Usually, hosts are polite. They agree to disagree. But Mark brings a different energy. He brings the energy of a husband who has had enough of the debate. And this is where the celebrity marriage dynamic really shines through. Host, voiceover with B-roll of social media comments. The reaction from the viewers was instantaneous. And this is where the divisive part comes in. The audience didn't know whose side to take. One camp of fans immediately flocked to social media to defend Mark. They commented things like, "Finally, someone stands up to Kelly." Or Mark is just saying what every husband is thinking. They viewed his "I'm off" moment as a victory for anyone who has ever been nagged or felt unheard in a debate. They see Mark as the relatable everyman who isn't afraid to walk away when the conversation goes in circles. But then there is the other side. A very vocal group of viewers found the move disrespectful. They argued that Live with Kelly and Mark is a professional environment. Walking off, even jokingly, can be seen as undermining Kelly's authority as the longtime veteran of the show. Comments popped up saying, "He needs to respect her space." And that was awkward to watch. This split in the audience is fascinating because it mirrors real life. Who hasn't wanted to just say, "I'm off," and walk out of the room during an argument with a partner? Seeing two millionaires do it on national television validates our own feelings. But let's look deeper. Is this a sign of trouble? Absolutely not. In fact, experts on branding and media suggest that this is exactly what the producers want. They want viral moments. They want clips that get shared on TikTok and Instagram. A polite conversation about the weather doesn't get clicks. Mark storming off. That gets millions of views. We have to remember that Kelly Ripa is a media mastermind. She has been doing this for decades. She knows that a little friction creates heat, and heat keeps the show alive. When Mark says, "I'm off," Kelly usually laughs. She knows how to reel him back in. It's a dance. However, there is a risk. The risk is viewer fatigue. If the bickering becomes the only thing the show is known for, the audience might start to feel like they are intruding on an uncomfortable therapy session rather than watching a morning talk show. The charm of Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos lies in the balance between love and annoyance. If the scale tips too far toward annoyance, the show loses its comfort food status.